Now that you have your image isolated, let's turn this to grayscale. So we're going to go to Image on your top menu. You're going to go to Adjustments. Then you're going to go to Hue and Saturation, or Command U. A window's going to pop up like this. You're going to move that to the side so you can see the results of your adjustments. Make sure that you guys have preview checked so that you can see the adjustments. And then we're going to turn the saturation all the way down to -100. So that will take away all the colors that's on your image or embedded in your image, however that works. Let's go back to where it was before. This is also, if you want to play around with colors, this is also where you play with the hue. Hue is just another word for color, so you can move this around and see what that looks like. Turn him into a little leprechaun or avatar. Move that back to 0. You could also type in. Lightness is basically lightness and brightness. Okay, so we're just going to move this down to -100 and click OK. Now, this image is fine, except what we are doing is posterizing. So with posterizing, you're going to need to increase the contrast of your image. And unfortunately, one of the parts of the being creative with this assignment is finding the balance of contrast depending on the resource that you're using. So I'm going to go to Image on your top menu, go to Adjustments, and then go to Levels. And a window is going to pop up like this. And the same thing, make sure that Preview button is pushed right there or checked. And then what you're going to do is you are going to mess with these little levers. Call them Hershey's Kisses because they're shaped like them. And you are going to push this around so that you can increase the contrast of your image, because then it's going to help set you up for success for the next steps on this assignment. So what works for my image in terms of the numbers here doesn't necessarily work for your image because we're using a different resource. So what I'm doing is I'm just taking this, because right now it's pretty bright and light, and I'm just going to push this side towards the center, and I push this. This is the white areas or the white points. Push this in the middle, and be careful as you're doing this that you don't want to overdo it to where your picture looks oversaturated, and then you also don't want to do it to where it's too dark and looks like it's undersaturated and crazy looking. So just find that happy medium, and like I said earlier, that happy medium is it's pretty subjective to whatever it is you're using as your reference. And then you're probably going to have to go back to this area, the levels step, once you do your posterize, because it might not yield you the best results. So I'm just going to, let's say I'm going to stick with that one. My goal is to increase the contrast from where it was before to now without losing as much detail as he has on his face. So I'm going to stop right there and see what that yields me and click OK.